Okay, we can go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Let's Chat, a virtual community meeting with Matthews Town leaders. Thank you for joining us. My name is Maureen Ryan, and I'm the Communications Officer for the Town of Matthews. Tonight, we are joined by Commissioner John Urban and Town Manager Becky Hawke. In just a few minutes, I will turn it over to our town leaders, but before I do that, there are a few housekeeping items that I would like to mention. First, this meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the town's YouTube page for those who weren't able to join us live tonight. Second, our next Let's Chat virtual community meeting will be held on Tuesday, September 17th at 7 o'clock. Lastly, you can make a comment or ask a question tonight by using the chat feature in Zoom. You can type your question or comment at any time. We'll begin to take questions in just a few minutes, but first I'd like to start with some introductions of our town leaders. Commissioner Urban, we can start with you.
Hey, good evening. I'm John Urban. I'm one of your Board of Commissioners, one of 7. I have been on the board now for 13 years, serving my 7th term. Some good days, some bad days, but for the most part, I enjoy it very much, and I like serving the community as a whole. Local architect. And that's about it. I mean, if you don't know me by now, I don't know where you've been, but if you're new to town, welcome.
And I'm Town Manager Becky Hawke. I've been in local government coming up on 18 years, which is kind of hard to believe, but I got my start in Virginia in 2006 and then moved to North Carolina to come work for the town of Matthews as the assistant town manager in 2016. And then I've been the town manager for 2.5 years. So I love Matthews. I love serving the community. We have tremendous staff, and we're always looking to hear from citizens and take their suggestions and their input and also help keep them informed. So glad to be here to help do that tonight. Thanks.
Great bunch of employees. I can't comment enough about staff, Becky's crew, Marine, Public Works, Parks and Rec, everybody. Great town.
Okay, thank you both. Now I will turn things back over to Commissioner Urban to share some updates on what's going on in the town of Matthews. And I do have some slides to share as well.
Visuals, all right. So, oh, there we go. All right. Very good. Thank you, Maureen. So first thing we wanted to highlight was the Matthews Fire and EMS expansion. We've hired 14 new employees, joined the fire department on July 8th, and we're also have 3 new battalion chiefs. 2 are hired and one was a promotion internally. There are 12 new firefighters going through training and certifications before beginning their regular duties later this fall, and we're really excited about it. And we're also really excited about Fire Station number 3 that's now under construction. With Parks and Recreation and our ongoing master plan, oh, there's the fire station. All right, I may be ahead of myself, but there's the fire station. Nice facade there, right along 51, right across the street from the park that we have before you get to the roundabout at Ottawa. It's 51. So it says built 100% debt free. That's the way we like it. So, Maureen, if you want to continue, we'll talk about Parks and Rec Master Plan. So the town is working to update the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. The goal of this project is to provide a game plan for the next 10 years for the Matthews Park and Recreation System. So we really do want to hear from the citizens. So please visit us at www.matthewsnc.gov/game plan to take the survey about parks, greenways, and recreational programming offered in Matthews. And these are the things that are very important to us. So we hear from you, so our staff at Parks and Rec can plan accordingly in the future. And then we have the newsletter, and that's www.matthewsnc.gov. And you can sign up for our weekly e-newsletter to get all the information about town news and events. And as you can see there, it says, let's chat. That's what we're holding about tonight. And that's ongoing, and Maureen keeps that up. And so if you're not one for traversing the website all the time, just get on there and sign up, and that weekly newsletter will get to you. And we also have some upcoming town events. National Night Out is Tuesday, August 6th, and that's always a fun night. We get all the neat little fire trucks out there, and police cars and police vehicles, and you can meet and greet all of our public safety folks. and that'll be on Tuesday, August 6th. And of course, our big punch is the Matthews Alive, which will be held August 30th to September 2nd. And I think we have, correct me if I'm wrong, Maureen or Becky, 250 or 300,000 people over that entire weekend, really enjoying what is the quintessential event that we hold here in Matthews. And again, that's August 30th to September 2nd. And then moving forward, we have the Beats and Bites, which will be held on Friday, September 20th. And that's been an ongoing presentation throughout the year. And that's always a neat little bit more informal type of presentation, smaller crowds for sure, but always a good event to have. And likewise, you can always visit us at www.matthewsfun.com for more information on our upcoming events. You can also sign up for the Parks and Recreation newsletter to find out about upcoming classes and activities at the Matthews Community Center and Cruise Recreation Center. I will tell you, there's not a weekend that there's not something going on, or there's not something you can't sign up with our Parks and Rec department for you and your family. So I think that covers all the events, Maureen.
Yep. Thank you very much. We can go ahead and begin taking questions or comments now. And again, if you'd like to ask a question or comment, please type it in using the chat feature in Zoom. Just give it a minute or so to see if anybody has any questions. While we wait, I will go ahead and read one question. This person is asking, why is a portion of the Heritage Trail closing?
You want me to take that, John?
Yeah, because I'm not quite sure about that.
Sure. So, so the section of the Heritage Trail that we're talking about is from John Street over to Tanktown Road, and that section actually just opened up a couple years ago. And so, when the decision was made to build that portion of the trail, we didn't know about some of the road impacts that were going to be coming quite so quickly. And so what has happened is really two things. You've got the 485 and John Street improvements, which is an NCDOT project. And so that is what is causing the trail to be closed right now, where the construction crews need that trail and they need access in that area to be able to make the road improvements and have their equipment. And so it wasn't safe or feasible to be able to keep the trail open while they were completing the construction improvements for the NCDOT project. So we had to go ahead and close the trail now. What's going to then start to happen before we would be able to open the trail back up is there's then a road construction project where Greylock Ridge is going to be extended across the street that will connect from John Street over to Tanktown Road. There will be a multi-use path that is built next to that road. And so there will be a path that is built back in as part of that new road project. And so there will eventually be a trail back in that area, but it will be alongside a road instead of the trail only, which is what it has been for the couple years that it's been open. And so it's really because of those road construction projects that we had to go ahead and make that closure now. But what we have done to try to accommodate pedestrians and people who have gotten used to being able to make that connection is we're moving the pedestrian beacons down to Clearbrook. And so you'll have to go either through the neighborhood a little bit differently, the Pine Forest neighborhood and the Greylock neighborhood, or come off the trail at a different location. But you will still have the pedestrian beacons to be able to help cross John Street safely and have traffic stop to let folks go across. And then you'll use the sidewalks on either side of John Street in that area to continue to travel up to Charles Buckley Way. And then you would connect at Charles Street and continue on your way if you're trying to head towards the Sportsplex. So it is a little bit out of the way, but it is a way to still be able to make that connection and hopefully make it safely. But it's because of those two projects that we've had to go ahead and make that closure.
But the bottom line is we're looking for more trails. We're putting them back together. These are just sort of temporary setbacks due to construction. So we're not eliminating greenways or trails or anything.
Definitely not. And we've got the added benefit of the partial cloverleaf improvement coming to the John Street interchange with 485. And then we're really looking forward to that new road project that will connect from John Street over to Tanktown. So instead of having to come all the way into town and turn up Charles Buckley Way to be able to get over to the Crestdale neighborhood. You'll be able to make that connection a lot more conveniently with the Greylock Ridge Extension project. And that is being paid for through some bonus allocation dollars. It's a particular type of extra state funding. When we originally conceptualized that road years ago, we thought that it was going to be the town that was going to have to pay for it. And so that's what's changed the timeline, as we were able to get the state funding, which is great for our taxpayers, isn't costing the local community any money to build that road project, but it's also moved up the timeline. So we're able to complete that portion of the road project a lot sooner than we originally thought we'd be able to.
So both more connectivity via roads and trails is where we want to be going.
Exactly.
Great, thank you. We did receive a question. Please give us an update on what will occupy the spaces on the corner of Trade and John Street, as well as the now vacant lot where the Shell station used to be.
So we have Hamburger Harriet's, I believe, Becky.
Harriet's Hamburgers.
Yeah, Harriet's Hamburger. Okay, so HH, something from that standpoint. And I know that there's some things been coming and going. Do you have any updates on who maybe that partner is in that building?
So my understanding is there's 3 spaces. There's 3 potential spaces, and 2 of them have been filled. The second one is a coffee shop. I can't remember the exact name of the coffee shop. I think they do have a small local presence, but it's a small chain. So, you know, not a big name, but kind of that corner store, local coffee shop kind of feel is what we expect to go in there. And then as far as we know, the 3rd space has not been rented out. We do think it's still available. On the Shell station side of that, John, I'm happy to take that, because it just, quite frankly, it continues to be a mystery. So we have received some inquiries about it in our planning department, things as random as like a hot tub store. And we said, hey, probably not what we're looking for in such a prime spot in downtown Matthews. So thankfully they, you know, everyone likes hot tubs, nothing against hot tubs, but just maybe not a store right there. So it is managed by a national firm. And so we don't maybe have quite the same contact or the same inside information that we might sometimes get with some other locations that are managed at a more local level. And so we've heard, you know, potentially it could be redeveloped, but it's really just a big question mark. You know, we certainly hope that it gets filled soon. They did pull the tanks when the Shell station moved out. They pulled the gas tanks out, and so we do expect that it will be something different than the gas station that it was for years.
There was some conversation about just trying to reuse the convenience store and refurbish it and do some different things. It's a logistically tight site. Getting access in and out. It was great for a gas station in and out from that aspect of it. I've heard a variety of things, but it's been now 2 years, maybe somewhere in there. It's been vacant. So I think, you know, obviously when the building across the street fills up, there might be some impetus to do something on that corner. But right now it's kind of a logistical problem from that aspect of it. But we shall see.
Great, thank you both. Again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them into the chat. And we can just wait a few minutes to see if any more come in.
I mean, we do know that White Duck Taco has been open now for quite a few weeks, maybe some months here. They were shut down for a while there. So folks, if you remember going there, you might want to return from that aspect of it. And yeah, there's a lot of exciting new things going on downtown. I know that the Moon Brew is doing a bang up job of feeding people, and all I hear is great reviews about their hamburgers and food, etc. And you know, it's really nice to be able to go downtown, whether it's on a Wednesday night or even a Thursday night, but definitely through the weekends. There's people all over the place downtown.
And just to add to that, Enzo's Italian Market is going into the old Beantown location on Matthew Station Street. So that upfit is underway. And then the long-awaited Ames Station redevelopment continues to be finalized. We're hearing end of 2024 that we hope that's an accurate timeline. I know it's been a long time coming, but some of the tenants who have signed leases for that space have talked about that they expect to be in before the end of this year, if not maybe even late fall. So that will be an additional activated space, and additional commercial and eatery type options in downtown Matthews beyond what we have today.
That will be exciting. I know a lot of people have been looking for space in downtown Matthews, and we really don't have a lot of the built environment for people just to move in. And so there's going to have to be some movement with some of these vacant properties we've been talking about over some time here. But people want to be here, and they don't want to miss this opportunity to be in Matthews, whether they're retail or professional offices. So I'm excited. I mean, this is why I've done what I've done for 14 years, is trying to help that and be a catalyst to this conversation to make downtown very vibrant. What you got, Maureen? A quiet night?
It is quiet. Yeah, we don't have any more questions at this time. I think we did want to highlight a couple other things that we have coming up. Becky, I don't know if you want to talk about Matthews 101.
Yeah, so Matthews 101 is a great program that we offer every year. If folks aren't aware of it, or if they haven't had an opportunity to take advantage of it, Maureen, I take it there's still time to apply to be a member of the 2024 class. And so it's a 7-week program that is about 2 hours every single week that focuses on a different department. And so you get to learn specifically about our police department and our fire department, public works, planning, town administration, finance, talk to elected officials. And the feedback that we get from citizens every single year is that it is just a tremendously insightful behind the scenes look at kind of all things local government that is going on around all of us all the time. But you may only just see the police car go by on its way to a call, or maybe they're patrolling the neighborhood, but all the other things that go into the work that they do. And so it's an opportunity to ask questions and really learn about town operations, and really just see, quite frankly, I know I'm biased, but the tremendous work that our employees do for our community day in and day out, and the commitment that they have and the level of service that we're able to provide, we think is really, really high, and that we're able to make great use of the resources that we have. So it's free, and we have a lot of people who get so inspired from it, they decide to then run for elected office, or they get put on town boards or committees to be able to continue to provide their service back to the community, because they just want to get involved after learning everything that we do and some of the new opportunities that they have to get involved. So it's a great kind of entryway into all things local government, or all things town of Matthews, and also really informative. And we think it's a good time. We try to keep it fun and interesting for everybody. And there's always lots of great questions from citizens who just kind of have no idea about some of the things going on. So we've got that coming up. And Maureen, it starts mid-September, I think, is the first week of that. Is that accurate?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
September 18th.
Yeah. And then
it's a great program. I'll tell you, when we have a commissioners meeting with the 101 folks once a year, Maureen puts that on. A lot of quick questions from those folks. Yes, we did have a commissioner. He wasn't a commissioner at the time. He took the class and ran for commissioner. But it's amazing how many people sort of like, I didn't know about this, didn't know about that, didn't realize you all did this. And really shocked about the breadth and depth of the community as a whole, and what goes on behind the scenes, how the sausage is sort of made. And it's really enlightening, and it's really sort of really neat to go into these meetings and hear these people talk about the things that they had lived here for a while and hadn't even known about, and even newcomers coming to town saying there is really a remarkable town and the things it affords and offers. I didn't have 101 14 years ago. Maybe I should take it.
I run the program, and I learn something new every year. You really do learn a lot. We did get a question. Who is responsible to maintain trash receptacles at bus stops in Matthews?
And I'll be honest, I don't know the answer to that offhand. I think they would be ours and maintained by Waste Pro, but the bus station itself is a CATS bus station. So I actually shot a text to our public works director really quick to see if I can get an answer for that. But I do think that they're ours, but nope, I was wrong. He just responded. It's actually CATS. So At the same time, if there's a concern with a trash receptacle, either the maintenance of it, if the receptacle is damaged, or if it's overflowing and isn't being emptied frequently enough, please let us know, and we can certainly get with CATS and make sure that that is maintained or fixed if there is an issue there. So, but the official word back is it's CATS.
We get a lot of questions on that, and maybe we need to do a little bit better job of disseminating to the public. But commercial projects are responsible privately to have their own trash picked up, and that goes for some businesses downtown as well. I've met some folks that thought that the town of Matthews picks up all the trash in historic downtown, and that's not necessarily always the case, and who maintains it, et cetera, et cetera. So we need to be cognizant of it, but we feel free to contact us, because I know there's still some angst with some situations with Waste Pro and pickups and deliveries and stuff like that, but they're new. Maureen and Becky have been working very hard to work with them to keep them on task. It's not like we've been working with them for 12 or 13 years like we had done our previous provider, but yeah, it's a little bit different, because I keep getting these questions about, well, why isn't the town picking up the trash behind the beer temple or something like that? Well, that's not our responsibility. But then again, if they're not maintaining their trash or something's happening there, and I'm not picking on beer temple, but I'm just saying, let us know and let us look into it. But yeah, it's not one fits all, from that aspect of it. There's different situations for different folks, different types of businesses as to who picks up the trash.
And just to add to that, because it is a little confusing, and some of them are our trash cans. There are certain ones in downtown that are ours, and just with the uptick in business and the uptick in people eating food, it was feedback from residents that had us add some additional trash cans and increase the frequency that we were paying to have them emptied by our provider. And so that's still good feedback to have. Or if there is a trash concern in a location, we get questions all the time where people are saying, hey, I'm not sure who's responsible for this, but this is the issue. And we can help track that down. And if it is something like to CATS, we're happy to make that connection on behalf of the citizen if we know about it. Or if it's a private business or something like that, we can typically direct people the right way or take care of it ourselves in making the contact, or address it if it is something that we are responsible for. So we're always happy to take those calls and take that information and help get it straightened out.
And we don't know if you don't say anything. I mean,
Exactly.
that's the whole bottom line. I saw who the question was from, and I think I know where that stems from. An earlier conversation in a chamber forum we had for a luncheon or something like that. It was a big trash conversation around the table. So I appreciate that. But yeah, if you don't ask the questions or raise them, I get some emails once in a while. A person asks a question, I immediately that's a CJ question at Public Works, or it's a Corey question at Parks and Rec. Or I got to go to Becky, heads up administration for some more other issues. So yeah, I mean, feel free to just reach out. I mean, we're all got email addresses, phone numbers, you name it. Go to our website, etc., and you can locate any one of. I think all department heads on the website and the commissioners. Okay, so there's a lot of people you can get a hold of pretty easily.
Okay, well, I guess last call maybe for questions or comments. And we can wrap it up with some closing comments if there's anything else that either one of you would like to add.
I mean, I'm hoping we get some more traction on these type of events and have these conversations, because we do get a lot of comments about citizens about being engaged and getting out to the public, and this is one way of doing it. It's very casual. You can sit at home and ask your questions, etc. And we want to be as transparent as possible to get out to the public, answer your questions, help you out as best we can, tell you what's going on. And I think this is a good forum to do it. And so hopefully we'll continue to do it. And Maureen will continue to sort of wave the banner to let us have at it from that standpoint. But yeah, I mean, I think, the good news is we're not getting rained on here. And so that tells us that the town is going in the right direction. It's in a good foothold. It's fiscally sound. It's conservatively run. We've got great events. We've got great business owners. We've got great staff. I mean, I think overall, when things are going really, really, really well, you don't tend to get the negative feedback from that standpoint. So I'm really proud of the community. I'm proud of the staff and everybody that works around it. I mean, if you listen to former mayors, Lee Myers and Jim Taylor and those folks, the best doggone city in the state of North Carolina. And I think Lee recently just said it's the best city in all the United States. And I would tend to agree with him there. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak in tonight. If we don't have any other questions, and we'll see what Becky has to say, and we'll close this out.
Sure, thanks, John. I just wanted to add that we have a number of board appointed committees, and we do have some openings coming up on those. And so both on our website and on our social media platforms, we'll be pushing out information on those openings in the next couple of weeks. And so if any citizen is interested in serving on one of those or learning more, just keep an eye out for those notifications. Information about those committees can then be found on our website, and then there will be information on where to find the application if you're interested in being considered for one of those. So they're a great way to get involved, learn a little bit more, maybe give back if you've got some expertise or some extra time on your hands, and also get to know some of your fellow citizens that you may not know. So meet some new people. And a lot of folks have, like I said, they've used that and realized that they really have a passion for local government, and they've decided to then end up on the board. But certainly you don't have to do that, but just know kind of once you get into local government, sometimes you get kind of hooked. So there's a lot of really good stuff going on, and a lot of fun things to be involved in. So we certainly try to push a lot of different things to those committees for them to either take on initiatives that are coming from them and things that they put on for the community, or things that they're able to weigh in on and give their opinion to the board to help the board make informed decisions about the variety of things that come before them. So just a plug for that. Keep an eye out for that if you are interested in getting involved in a little bit bigger way.
That's excellent idea. I digress. I did not mention that, but you're absolutely right. I started with the Appearance and Tree Board 20 some odd years ago, and dabbled in that, became the chair. And then as things evolve, you begin to get more intimately involved with the town board and commissioners and staff. And someone's got to rise to the challenge of working with the community as a commissioner. And normally members that sort of go onto the planning and advisory board, that's the sort of closest stepping stone to a role as a commissioner, because they're actively engaged in meeting with the commissioners for one meeting a month plus their own meeting. So if you're really wanting to serve the community and have that sort of angst, there are a couple of advisory boards that are really sort of dived in or dialed in to a sort of a progressive step if you want to serve even more in the town.
And we did have another question. How often will you have these talks? I found out today through Instagram. And I can answer that actually. Well, we have these talks every 2 months on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And this is something new that we've started just this year, and we're testing it out, seeing how it's going. We want it to be, the town leaders to be accessible and convenient for citizens to access and ask questions. And it'll be a different commissioner typically every time. I know next in September 17th is our next one, and we'll have Commissioner Threet, and maybe one other of our elected officials will be joining us for that. So we'll be back in September.
Yeah, I mean, and frankly, if someone sees this event, and let's say you're a member of a local HOA of some residential neighborhood, feel free to reach out to the town, because either myself or any one of the other commissioners or the mayor would love to come out and visit with you as well. I know the mayor's done some in the past. I've done some in the past, and sometimes it's just more convenient to meet you and your constituents at their amenity building, at their HOA or something like that. But this is one way to get out. And if you say, I can't make this day or date, but you want your neighbors to get together and have a little talk, we'll figure it out. But we just want to make sure we're getting out to the general public and answering as many of your questions as possible.
Great. Thank you both.
Well, thank you very much. All right. Have a great
evening, folks. I do appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.